Hello again to all the Metis citizens across the province of Manitoba. My name is David Chartrand, the president of the Manitoba Metis Federation. Let me start off again by expressing our best wishes to each and every one of you that are at home isolating, those that are practicing distancing from each other. And I was actually tell you a quick story before I go into my report here. I was going to the store, 7-Eleven, and we wait till everybody walks. My granddaughter wanted something. And as we were walking home, people would walk away from us on the sidewalk and keeping a massive distance from each other and just walking away. And as we got to the house and we were walking, I told my granddaughter, you know, one day you will be a mother. And you'll probably share the story that would happen in 2020 in Canada and the world. And that people had to walk away from each other, people couldn't go close, and people were just staying far away from you as possible because of the distancing. And I said, you know, by that time, 20 years from now, you'll probably have children. And when you tell a story around the kitchen table, they're going to say, oh my, you're lying, you're stretching the story. People do not know in this day and age that we never expected this to come. Nobody expected this. And so the moral to that story is that people still out there to this day don't believe it's going to affect them. And I think what's important to recognize, and people don't believe that it can affect them. But it can affect you, it can affect anybody. And it's something that we need to be careful of. This morning, in fact, the Minister, Miller, Indigenous Affairs Minister of Canada, acknowledged that there are 15 people who have been affected, Indigenous people in Canada, in communities. They're not sharing what those communities are. We're pressing hard to get those answers because we need to know. We want to plan as fast as we can around that particular community or person or family. We're struggling right now getting information with Canada and the provinces. They're not sharing these details, and we hope to get it soon. But today's message is something that we need to talk about. As I said, we're going to have daily videos going out to you, trying to keep you posted and updated on everything that's going on. And from our perspective, one of the first things I know right now that's been pressing, which is unprecedented for sure, with no doubt in anybody's mind, and people can go back in some of the historical happenings in the economic cycle of our country and the world. There's been times when recessions have come. There's been time, you know, when people have been struggling just to find ability to keep their lights on, their house, and food on their table. Those days are really somehow finding its way into today's world. People today, employers are stressful at home. They're stressed to the max. They're laying off people. They themselves are trying to figure out how to keep their doors open, how to maintain their business even after the COVID effect changes and the world changes and the country changes. How do you keep that business still alive after? Their employees, and there are many Metis employees that are working across Manitoba for different companies, they're being laid off because not the employer's fault, they're being laid off. And so we're figuring out ourselves here, how do we ensure we get our government on board? So the Metis government has a plan. And we've been actually, we advertised it on all papers on Saturday. We sent it out through emails and through different mucks and telegraph, sending to our employers, employees, if you've been affected by COVID, you come to your Metis government. Go to our website, mmf.mb.ca, and you'll find a number that you can contact. But let me give you some information about what is happening and how many businesses are we talking about. Well, we know that there's over potentially 400 businesses, Metis businesses in Manitoba, some small, medium size, not many major large employer entities. But we do know there's over 400 businesses that are already contacting the Metis Federation. We also know that there's over 185 employees that have been laid off that have contacted us to see if they can get help from the Metis government. Well, let me tell you, help is already on its way. In fact, for employers, our cabinet meets every Tuesday, the Metis cabinet of the Metis government, and in fact, we made a resolution, a motion very clear, that we will help all employers, the Metis businesses that are out there seeking any type of support. We already have some money that's gone to some particular employers to keep their house in order, to keep their business in order. So we're actually awarding $1,000 to $10,000 based on the size, and there's a formula being used of what determines who gets what. If it's 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, or 10,000. So this work is being done by LRCC, and I want to thank the Louis Riel Capital Corporation, the Metis Economic Development Fund. Both institutions are working hand in hand, plus a committee. And I want to commend all those hardworking people at the Federation that are doing their darnest to get this thing and these resources out to you. So that's one aspect of how we're helping employers, and I know we're getting some very positive feedback from many employers. I know you'd probably want to see, why not 50,000, why 100,000? We just don't have it. But I will tell you, if you look at the full spectrum of what I'm announcing today, you'll see how big this actually is, because we're starting to talk a very mass size. We have over 185 employees that are now seeking our support of the Métis government. In fact, we are awarding funds, just like EI is doing in Canada, as a bridge financing. We're actually giving, depending on the size, definitely we're giving $750 per employee, and for the next 2 weeks, and $1,000 for those with bigger families. So it'll definitely assist in the bridge financing as Canada prepares its program and its services. That'll definitely send a different opportunity for all of us in this country, and that Canada is doing its best to help out the way they can. But that we know is taking time. They're saying that April 6th you can apply for your EI, but you may not receive it till 5 days later. So these issues of support that we're sending your way right now, is important to recognize this. We want you to stay isolated. We want you to keep in your community. So when we give you support, we're asking you only one person go shopping, one person get your supplies, essential needs, and then go back straight home. That's the only way right now. It's the only solution the world has on the best way to combat COVID. So if you look at the numbers there alone, and as I said, 750 to 1,000, 400 businesses at 1 to 10,000. We're talking that alone about $1.2 million already potentially that we will have to give out in support, and we will. We're prepared to do that. But besides that, and over above that, we have 500 and so many students, 527 students, I believe, and they too are needing support. And many of these students are at home because the programs, schools have shut down, the training institutions have shut down. They too are getting supplements over and above their student allowances. So that package alone for the students, 587, is additional $200,000 for 2 weeks and $400,000 to a month, if it's a month support. So when you start adding these numbers already, we're at $1.6, $1.7 million. And so I want to say how proud I am as a Métis government, as a president, on behalf of Cabinet and your team that's working diligently at MMF, that we're now committing another $1.7 million in our defense to help you and keep your doors open, keep your family safe, and keep food and essentials in your house to make sure you take care of your family. So we're working even beyond that. The Louis Riel Capital Corporation, for example, which has about 140 loans out there, 160 loans, they are actually setting aside potentially up to 6 months. They don't have to pay back their loans at this point in time. That can cost $300,000, maybe to $600,000. So we're working on those numbers right now, and I'll share more of that information with you later. But I do tell you this, those businesses are so appreciated. We're getting calls back, and they're saying thank you, thank you, thank you again to the Louis Riel Capital Corporation, that we're deferring those loans for up to 6 months. And as I said, for the first 3 months, we estimate a cost of $300,000, and it could get higher as time goes forward. So I can tell you proudly how the Métis government's going, and I want to take this opportunity to thank, of course, Anita, Minister of Finance, and Campbell, and Francis Chartrand, Minister of Health, who are united together in operating the direction of the Métis COVID plan for the Métis government. So, and all the other team, in fact, I can't name all of them, but I want to thank again all those drivers, all those people out there working, all those people in the offices working, all those people working from home, and to you, each and every one of you, I want to please thank you again. Keep isolated, keep safe. I know this message is coming out in a way that we have 15 announced by Miller, who was the Minister of Indigenous Affairs of Canada, and we don't know where those 15 are, but they are now stating this, and this is a fact. They are stating now this is now being community passed by community, by citizen by citizen. This is not no longer somebody that traveled overseas. It's being passed amongst individuals that did not travel. That's the one we're all worried about, because we know that a mass majority of our people did not travel outside of our country. So we do know now it's being passed in the community. So that's something we need to take heed of, and take warning of, and take it seriously. So again, I want to thank everybody at home. I want to thank everybody that's listening. And please join our videos every day. They'll be on our website on a regular basis. You can check. They'll be on there to go back and reflect the message that we're here. So, but come into our website, mmf.mb.ca, and you'll get up-to-date information, up-to-date stats and figures that are happening right now. And this map, as I said, once the government decides now to share this information, we can work more diligently and showing you what areas. And we're not going to be hard on that individual, because how do they know they're sick? You know, that people are saying, well, if you tell the individual's name, they're going to be hard on them. That's not true. We need to work with that family and support that family and help that family. But in order for us to protect the community and the family, we need to know where. So here's the communities of the Métis villages that we live in, the urban centers. we need the government to start sharing information with us so we can share it with you as fast as we can on a daily basis. So keep in tune, join mmf.mb.ca, and you'll get up-to-date information. And again, thank you to the Metis Cabinet and all the people working hard. And I want to thank all those entrepreneurs and employees that are being patient, but I'm telling you, help is on its way, and it's happening as we speak right now. So thank you very much.